A Fairy Tale, Chapter 415. You know, the fact that there are so many things that are getting pulled in and people began to complain about, oh, you changed it just like that. This had a similar feeling, but a much sadder one. First, it's of no, Makarov saying that he did not have the courage to unleash Lumen Historia. The ghost of Mavis says then it just means it's not yet time. Then when is it time? Oh, for the love of God. What is time? Either way, the dragons are reunited with their dragon slaying children. And Grandine is indeed very sweet, and as we said before, Metallicana is quite the jerk, saying you have such a vile eyes. He inherited it from you, Metallicana. And as Rouge and Sting also saying we were sure dead, Skydream and Weislogia did indeed confirm that they manipulated the minds. So they used magic. However, here they also confirms another thing that is another logic. Apparently the dragons are already dead. Their power was at the limit. The power they demonstrated here and the power Igneel was trying to do to destroy Acnologia was the last of their power. That is why they wanted to end their terrible legacy. And it also answers the question, why didn't the dragon slayers show themselves the first time Acnologia attacked? Because if they did, they would have died, and it was just not yet time. It was just like that. That is quite the sad one, because that means the dragons are now gonna die off. And here Gajiel again shows a pretty sweet things. As Wendy, even though she promised herself not to cry anymore, she doesn't want Granny to go. But Gajiel pats her head and saying, "We gotta send them off with pride." As the dragon's also saying to not believe Igneel, because there was no one more loving than him. Because Natsu is crying, of course he does. Everything that he wanted to, everything he wanted to meet, and everything that wanted to tell him how many friends he got, all of that lost. Because his dad died. Happy is also very sad. As the dragons ascend to heaven, they give their final farewells to their human companies. And everyone is also giving a little sad thing, although Grey is having a different thing. Saying, the day we fought against each other, the day we hated another, those are in the past. Today we join together in peace, and now our era is over. It's the era of you humans now that will end it all. And that, apparently, this is accordance with the covenant that made 400 years ago between dragons and man. That was apparently called the Magna Carta. Someone once wrote to me what Magna Carta means. Something like, King Ascend or something like that. But well, I don't remember. As the dragon assemble to heaven, they say they will watch over them for eternity. As Wendy cries for Gradine just says that love them. As Metallicana says, you have vulgar eyes. Gadjiji says, that's your last words? And Sting and Rouge thank the dragons. As Igneel also vanish, his last words as a spirit, almost the same time as when Haru's father did it to Haru, saying that you should not be sad. Stand up and do strong, because I am with you, now and forever. As Agnatsu says, I will live on and I will become stronger. He swears he will defeat Acnologia. With that, the era of the dragons really is over. They all ascend to heaven. And even though there is yet another lost page, it is also the end, I think, of the Tartarus arc. This was just an emotional chapter. You cannot deny it. Perhaps there could have been more emotional, but if you think about it, this was something no one saw coming. I mean, when you thought the dragons were there, you thought the dragons were there. I, for one, did not expect the fact that the dragons were already dead. This also means that Acnologia is an even bigger bastard than we thought. Well, I know you're saying to me, how can you not feel like he was a big bastard? Because apparently his dragon slayer magic extracted their souls. Which is probably why Acnologia was so surprised to see Igneal. Because his magic killed the dragons that still were alive, too. Acnologia is an even bigger threat than we thought. But I digress. Truly sad. It's also the only thing I complain about that even though Lucy was with the others, she was not at Natsu's side. That would have been a very touching scene if that happened. But it did not happen. But the dragons have ascended, and now it's up to the humans. Whatever is happening in the next arc, I can barely contain myself. What will we see? Will we find out what Seraph wants? Will Acnologia finally be annihilated? And will more be revealed? I don't know. We can only watch and read. Great chapter. And give me your thoughts if you thought this was emotional too.